gentlemen, I am Tony Chimmel, and welcome to Road Trip After Hours. Please welcome your hosts, Mac Davis and WWE Hall of Famer, Teddy Long. Holler!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Road Trip After Hours. I'm Mac Davis, along with my co-host, WWE Hall of Famer, holla, Teddy Long. Hey, Teddy.
Holla, player.
How you doing, brother? I know we spent last weekend together in St. Louis for a big fan fest there, the SICW Fan Fest and the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Had a blast, Teddy. Had a blast.
Yes, sir. We did it. Really had a great time, man. And I tell you what was really good for me, getting a chance to see some of the guys that I hadn't seen in some years and stuff,
Yeah.
and being able to be standing there with some of the guys that I met when I was just a referee, and now to be able to stand there and be a brand along with those guys was just an outstanding feeling for me. But I always tell people, I never down being a referee, because if I'd have never been a referee, I'd have never made it where I am today. So I never look down on anything that I've done.
And I got to tell you, I have always said this to anybody out there who has ever wanted to listen to anything I had to say. A referee has a hard job. A wrestler goes into a ring and they have one match they got to get in and out of. If you're back in your days of the NWA, how many matches a night would you work, Teddy? 3, maybe 4?
All of them.
So you're up and down all night long. The abuse on the knees and the hips and everything on the body. Guys, I'm telling you, those referees are really kicking ass out there. And you're thankful to have them out there because they got to be athletes as well.
Well, see, back in the day, you worked. Nowadays, they don't work.
Oh, yeah. Well, Teddy took me by this restaurant that was near the hotel. Well, let me back up a little bit here. Hold on. We worked all day long and we were starving. So we wanted to find something to eat. And across the way, there were some restaurants and some other little stores sitting all over the place. We get out to go find something to eat. And as we get up to the road, Teddy notices there's a Krispy Kreme that we must go by before we get back to the hotel. So before we get there, we hop over the road. And this is some busy highway somewhere. I'm not even sure. It's in St. Louis, outside St. Louis. And to go to a Panera. Now, I've never eaten at a Panera. And I think it was called something else there, but it was a Panera place. Man, Teddy, I told my wife when I got home, the best salad I have ever had in my life came from that place. In fact, this weekend, I'm making her take me up to, I think it's Warner Robins we're going to go, and they got one there, I believe, and we're going to have lunch there because I'm dying for that salad again already, but great call on the food.
Yeah, man, that was great. It was called St. Louis breads.
Yes,
but
yes.
They really were the Panera breads, and I had that teriyaki chicken and broccoli and that teriyaki bowl, man, and that was really good. And you had that strawberry salad, man. I'm telling you, man, that's you want to stay healthy and do the right thing, then check them Panera breads out, players.
Yeah, let me tell you, and they're not a sponsor of the program. We'd love to have you if you'd like to be here, but they're not a sponsor of the program. The food was just that damn good. But after we left there, Teddy's got to go to Krispy Kreme, as I said, because Teddy, and just like me, I love Krispy Kreme. I grew up in the South, and Krispy Kreme was the donut around here that I always knew about. And so we went into Krispy Kreme, and both Teddy and I are trying to watch what we eat. So I'm like, I'm only going to get 2 donuts. Teddy's like, yeah, I'll do the same thing. We'll just get 2 donuts apiece. 2 days, that's all we need. By the time we left out of there, I believe you had probably in your hands 2 dozens worth of donuts.
No.
Oh, you had a full dozen of donuts plus a bag of donuts.
He's not telling y'all right. He's not telling you how this actually happened. We went into that Krispy Kreme, and here's what I did. I bought a cup of the little donut holes or whatever you call them. Yeah. So I had a cup of them, and then I had 2 of the mini glaze, the glaze or whatever it was. I had 2 of them.
4 already now.
Okay, but so that was all, and that's not bad. Two mini glazed and some donut holes, and they lasted over to the next day. But here's where all the donuts came in. After I get in there, people recognize me, so I took pictures and stuff. Here comes a guy that tells us, here's a dozen. You guys can have these. Take them with you. Take them all. So I said, well, no problem. We'll take them. But I had in mind to take them back and give them to the crew, those guys that were working there and putting up the ring and stuff. So, and that's exactly what we did with them, folks. We did not eat them.
Although Teddy and I both admitted we could finish off that dozen donuts with no problem at all.
Oh, well, yeah, we had the munchies too, so it really wouldn't have been no problem.
Teddy, was there anybody this past weekend that you really enjoyed seeing that you haven't seen in a while?
Well, I sit down and talk to Ming, Haku. I was happy to see him, man. I hadn't seen him in a while, and me and him had so much fun and great times together. He was always a straight up guy with me, man. And I loved him to death. So sit down with me and Ming, and we talked the old stories and stuff that we remembered back in the day, and so that was pretty funny. Always glad to see Jay Briscoe, the guy that really came to me when I first went in WWE and gave me some advice that helped me to stay there as long as I did. So always great to see Gerald and Shockmaster. Had a chance to talk to him, and Cuban Assassin. Mac, I know you didn't know him, but he was big down in Florida at one time, and then he came into WCW, and he was also, when Elegante was alive and was wrestling, I think he was Elegante's chauffeur and, took care of him. But Cuban Assassin, good to see him. JJ Dillon, great to see him. Back when I started refereeing, JJ was the guy that hired me. Dusty gave me the first job, but JJ was kind of my boss there. So great to see JJ and, Bob Orton Sr., great to see him. We had a great story we talked about one time. We got so high, man. We went to the White Castle, and I think I ate about 20 White Castles. So the next day, I had a signing. Me, Ron, and Butch in Philadelphia. I was so sick. I was just puking everywhere. Oh, it was just terrible. But Bob remembered that story, so it was good talking about that. And like I said, Earl Hebner.
I was going to say Earl Hebner, and I didn't want to forget him because he is going to be a guest on the show. We spoke to him, and he does want to be on the show, and we're going to reach out to him. It would be either next week or the following week, one of the two, but we'll keep you up to date and let you know. But there's some great stories with Earl. Earl has always been, if you've never sat down and had a conversation with Earl, you're in for a treat if you watch this interview coming up. I promise you it's something that we'll all enjoy. But we had talked about JBL and Gerald Brisco, two people you know very well. Yes. And we had a chance to sit back and enjoy the induction by JBL to Gerald Brisco. It's hilarious. Folks, we're going to do that right after commercials, so we'll be right back.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Harold's Memory Improvement School, owned and operated by that renowned memory expert, good old Harold, you know him.
Also brought to you by
Uncle Willie's Real Mexican Coffee, made from real Mexican jumping coffee beans. Yes, just 1 cup of Uncle Willie's Real Mexican Coffee will have you up and down all night long.
All right, Teddy, this game is called Jenga. Now, the object of the game is to remove all the little blocks without knocking it over. If you knock it over, you lose, right? All right, now, I'll tell you what. You lose, I'll buy you a steak dinner. If I win, you buy me a steak dinner. Fair enough?
All right.
Now, it's easy.
Sounds a little shady, but all right.
You start out by just pushing one of these out here. Let's see if I can find one. Right. Almost out. There we go.
I told you. Not again. Hey, you owe me dinner.
right, we're back. I'm Mac Davis, your host for Road Trip After Hours, along with my co-host, the ever-popular Mr. WWE Hall of Famer himself, Teddy Long. Hey, Teddy.
Player.
Look here, over the weekend, I do want to talk about the fans who came by and saw us and bought merchandise, had their photographs taken, and the amount of people who we found out are listening to this program. It's overwhelming sometimes when you hear all the guys saying, yeah, we listened to you. And so it's really nice to hear that. Guys, thanks for so much for reaching out and saying hello to us at the convention. And Teddy, we sold a number of shirts. In fact, some of those folks you're going to see during the program today who bought those shirts, but really a great time when it came to the fans out there.
Well, it's always great to meet the fans. That's the most enjoying part I get out of it, man. Because you're gonna meet somebody that's gonna have you laughing, and you're probably gonna meet somebody that's probably gonna piss you off. But it don't bother you, man. It's just that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? It's just out there having fun and to be with the people. And like you said, I decided that what we would do if somebody came up and and they watched the show and they wanted to get a T-shirt. Well, if they spend money to want to buy a T-shirt, then I think we ought to put them on our show. Yep. So everybody that bought a shirt, we videotaped them and put them on the show and gave their name and stuff, and so they can be out there too. And so that's what we're going to be doing too. We're going to be with our T-shirts, we're going to be working out some stuff, Mac and I, for you fans. In order to get one, we can get your face out there and have you on our show.
Yeah, and that's a big part of this show. We've always said we want our listeners and viewers to always be able to participate with the show, because that in itself is what makes the show. Are you who watch and keep it going and want to be involved in the program? So thank you so much for that. Teddy, I do want to mention that real quick before we get into this induction by JBL to Gerald Brisco at the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, I wanted to mention there was one time this past weekend where you broke some poor kid's heart. They walked up to Teddy and they asked Teddy, because now he's the SmackDown general manager, and this is a younger person who is obviously watching some of the older stuff, and they wanted to know, did he put together all those matches as the general manager? And Teddy, what was your response?
No.
That kid's face went. He looked so disappointed because he swore you made up all the matches that we saw on TV.
Well, it's kind of hard to lie to a kid. So yeah. But after I told him no, I really explained it to him that that.
Oh, you didn't explain it to him until after I said, Teddy, you just broke that boy's dream.
So, well, I know. Well, I know, but that's what I'm saying. You just didn't give me time.
Of course not.
So I explained to him, that was Vince McMahon's job, to put those matches together, and he comes and he lets me know exactly, what he wants, and that's how I got it out there. So I just didn't want to tell him and make it look like I was a big man and all that. I just didn't think that was right.
No, but I got to tell you, it really does reinforce the fact that these younger fans do believe to a point about certain things. I mean, if they're questioning whether you really made the matches, that tells you that there is still a belief system in there, that's still in wrestling that a lot of people think isn't. It is.
Well,
it's still there.
Well, if you once you make them, get them to believe, you don't have to. There's no problem there. Nothing to worry about. And that's what I did. I had you to believe because I wasn't a character. I was me.
Yep. Teddy, before you and I finish up, I do want to mention that we had a great time at the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame and the FanFest from SICW. But I was able to sit ringside, up in the ring to film what you're about to see. And it really was one of the better inductions I've seen in a while. And it was really funny. So we're going to share that with you right here on Road Trip After Hours. So when it's over with, it's over with. We'll see you next week. And we want to say bye, but don't go anywhere because this is the induction speech you have to see. JBL, his induction of Mr. Gerald Brisco.
My good friend, JBL. Thank you. It is a terrific honor to be here today in such a famous place and among such a wonderful, incredible legends and superstars that have meant so much to this business. About 28 years ago, I worked for Otto for a couple of years over in Europe, and I was coming back through, and I had a deal with WCW, but before that, I had a tryout match with WWE. And I had a tryout match, I had Savio Vega, and for those of you that know Savio, that was the best person I could possibly have. And I came out of the ring, and Gerald Brisco and JJ Dillon pulled me aside and said, "We understand you're going to WCW." And I said, "I am." And they said, "We want to sign you." And I said, "Well, I want to sign with you guys." And Gerald said, "Well, how do we know you're not going to WCW?" And I said, "How do I know you're giving me a contract?" And he said, "You have my word." And he stuck out his hand, and I realized that the next couple seconds, I was going to make one of the biggest decisions of my life about what I was going to do to a man that I had just met. And I looked past that outstretched hand, and I looked at Gerald Brisco, and everything in me said, "Trust this man." And I shook his hand. It was the best thing I ever did, because not just professionally, I think it was the right decision, but personally, I've got to be friends with Gerald Brisco for the last 28 years, and it's one of the greatest blessings of my life to be this man's friend. Now, we do have a little bit of a rivalry going on. Mr. Brisco is proud, as he should be, Native American, and he's in the Chickasaw Hall of Fame. I'm a cowboy. We have a little state thing going on too, but the Hall of Fame is not the time to discuss state rivalries. Mr. Brisco is very proud of the fact that he grew up in that meth lab-filled bingo parlor called Oklahoma. And I'm proud to have grown up in the promised land known as the great state of Texas. Mr. Brisco texts me almost every day, and I text him back. I enjoy it. I love our conversations we have. It's one reason we do a podcast together. Every day he texts me something with Texas in it, but it has 2 S's. So it's Tex Ass. Every single day he texts me that, so I had to go back on my smoke signal app and correct it. There are a few things in this business that brought you instant credibility. These guys all know about this. Where you train. You train with Hero Max Suter, you train with Billy Robinson, you train with Carl Gotch, you train with Brad Reinings. Or you were in Florida and you rode with the Briscoes. There is not a bigger legendary car. The amount of things consumed, legally, illegally, in that car. In fact, there was the time, these guys all know this. There was the time that he and Bruce Pritchard set off a fire alarm in the Northwest because of what they were consuming in their room. Now, a lot of people talk about Snoop Dogg, and no offense to the Snoop Dizzle, but that motherfucker's the OG right there. That's the OG. Mr. Brisco and Michael Hayes once ran over the hottest baby face in the country, Tommy Wildfire Rich. And when I say they ran over him, they ran over him. They hit him with a car, he rolled up on the top and landed back. Michael Hayes went back and he goes, "I think he killed Wildfire." I asked Jerry about that. I said, "Did you really run over the hottest baby face in the country?" And he goes, "That was just a rib." I said, "No, it was a felony." When Steve Austin got hot, and I mean hot, he put his name on any building in the world, he sold out. In the UAE, he came out of the ring and he took a kick at Gerald Brisco. Gerald Brisco, in his suit, chicken wing suplex our meal ticket on the stadium floor. Yeah! We watched in horror as we thought our mortgages and everything else were soon going to be done. Jerry can go in the Hall of Fame for so many different reasons. He can go in as a talent, he was a great champion, he was a great tag team with his brother. He can go in as a promoter, he can go in as someone that's been in the seminal moments in wrestling history, from the sale of Georgia Championship Wrestling to the beginnings of WrestleMania. But he can also, get this, when he formed a on-air partnership with Pat Patterson, the Stooges as they were known, in a regular quarter hour, not a special show, not a Saturday night main event, drew an 8.6. think it was a higher rated over one, or maybe a higher rated quarter hour, but I can tell you that will never be seen again. Gerald has been our podcast we've done. We've had so much fun doing it because we enjoy the business. We enjoy it so much. Everybody tells us the exact same thing. The only reason they come on is because they love Jerry. He's got one of the best names, one of the most respected names. He's a true pillar of this business, and I can't understate how important he has been to the rest of the business. So it's my honor to welcome or induct, or whatever the hell I'm doing, into the Hall of Fame, Mr. Gerald Brisco.
My name is Sam.
This is Eli Ifford.
Hey, I'm Joe Roberts.
My name is Tina Corey. We listen to Road Trip After Hours with Teddy Long and Mark Davis, a WWE Hall of Famer.
Actually, he's a Hall of Famer and I'm Mac, but that works.
And you listen to Road Trip After Hours with WWE Hall of Fame, Teddy Long and Mac Davis.
And you're listening to Road Trip After Hours with Mac Davis and WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long. Holla, holla.